Today, I'm going to be showing you guys a challenging night of street photography using an 85mm lens. So 85mm isn't my typical street kind of focal length. I typically use 28 to 50mm whenever I'm out shooting street photography, which is a much wider focal range than 85mm. But I felt like challenging myself in this night of shooting street photography by using an 85mm lens, because I never use 85 for street photography. I typically use it for portraiture or detail shots on cars or objects or anything like that, but never street photography. And I always see videos and posts, I guess, on social media of people using an 85mm for street photography, trying to challenge themselves and kind of experiment. So I kind of thought I should challenge myself as well, because I feel like that is the best way to grow and develop yourself as a photographer and just as a person. You get new skills, you learn new things, and you adapt and become kind of stronger and more diverse, I guess, which is always good because it expands your skill set and you can do more things and do things better. So that is why I'm using the 85mm for this night of shooting. And it is also kind of a double challenge, I guess, by shooting for the first time during night, shooting street photography at night for the first time, and also using an 85mm for street photography for the first time. So that is why I think this night of shooting and this video is super interesting, because I am kind of pushing the boundaries and kind of really challenging myself and pushing myself to try these new things that I'm not super used to doing. And I can kind of tell you guys right now that in this video, you can kind of see how I adapt to using an 85mm and also to shooting at nighttime, and it's pretty interesting to see. So in this video, I am using the 85mm from Lumix, and this is an f1.8 lens, so super good for portraits and also night shooting. And I'm also using the Lumix S5, which is a full frame camera body. I'm not using any filters or anything else. That is the gear for the day of shooting. And I'm just recording the POV footage on my GoPro Hero12, like in all of my other behind the scenes videos. So I'm going to kind of show you guys this POV footage, give my thoughts on the 85mm lens, give my thoughts on shooting at nighttime for the first time, and at the end I'll give you a more comprehensive look into why I did this challenge and also why I really like 85mm after this video, and my impression of this focal length has kind of changed. So now that I'm showing you guys the footage, this is the first time I'm shooting at nighttime and doing some nighttime street photography. Also my first time using an 85mm lens for street photography, like I said before. And to start off the night, I turn my head and I see these people on the other side of the street, and this person is wearing a bright orange toque, and I really like how this photo turned out. Kind of a strong start for the night, and I'm kind of feeling it now. I'm kind of confident after that one. I get this shot, some nice geometry in there, kind of some architecture, and kind of looks nice with the contrast of the dark blue and stuff. This photo right here kind of goes with the last one. Lots of contrast, some nice leading lines, or just some nice lines in that photo. And as I'm going down the street here, I end up seeing this Ford Bronco, and there is something about Ford Broncos that I really love taking pictures of them, especially the Badlands one, which is this one right here, kind of made for off-road, and I think they look really cool. And they have that bucking bronco badge on the back side of the vehicle, and I'm trying to take a photo of it right here, maybe taking a bit too long, but it does look pretty cool. A bit further on, I end up seeing this kind of yellow circular sign. It's being reflected with this glass above it. It's kind of a nice reflection, maybe not super interesting, but I kind of like how that kind of looks. I like the reflection, and as I'm going down, I kind of get a quick self-portrait in this glass, and this glass is really clear, as you guys can see, and I think it's a really cool photo. I kind of like how that turned out. Now just on the street corner, I'm trying to get some panning shots of these cars as they're going through the intersection. These two don't really work out, but then I see this red Porsche, and I do end up getting this photo. I do like how it looks, but it's maybe a bit too blurry for me, but those light trails and the motion that you capture with that low shutter speed at nighttime kind of gives it a unique feel. Just maybe a bit too blurry, but at this intersection I see this guy standing. I really like the frame and those leading lines pointing towards him in the pavement, and I really like the lights behind him. Just a quick photo of this glass. I like that aqua and the yellow, and also those dots kind of look interesting, kind of give it some texture. It's kind of a neat photo. But right here I'm taking a picture of this big C in this doorway, kind of a throwaway photo. I like to show some of the bad ones I got from the night, just to show that not every single picture I get is perfect. But yeah, that one wasn't all that great. And then just some pictures of these neon lights on this building. I really like how that one looked. Just some orange, pink, purple, blue lights. And this photo of these lights right here is actually my favorite. I really like how they are reflecting in the glass and kind of making an X on the building. It looks pretty neat. And just a bit further down the avenue here, I see these lights kind of being curved on this awning. I think it looks kind of cool, and I get this shot. It's kind of nice. I do like kind of that gold, green, orangish tone of that that material that the lights are on. It kind of looks pretty nice. Then as I turn, I see these two ladies going down. I do like how this looks, but I would maybe try to recreate that in the future and try to get a better photo like that, because the idea is there. It maybe just didn't turn out perfectly. And then this photo is just of that lounge. Really like how it's pretty dead center right there. It's kind of like flat looking, and that light kind of acts as a trim around the photo and around that glass. Looks kind of nice. And then just down the avenue, I see this pop art photo, kind of just a quick snapshot of that as I'm passing by. Nothing too special. But across the street here, I get this photo of this person walking down the street in front of that building. Really like the lights and the glass and how that turned out. That was one of the first photos where I actually had some separation between me and my subject, because this 85mm is so zoomed in. I kind of like how that looked. Kind of like the first photo of the night as well. I see this gray SUV waiting in the road right here. I kind of like the color of it, and also that aqua glass behind it. Maybe kind of a boring photo, but I do like how the SUV looked. And then just down here, I'm waiting for these guys to cross in front of this burger spot, in front of this door to frame them up. I like the kind of feeling of that photo. I kind of like how it turned out. And then down the avenue, I see this taxi sign, and this is a sign that I did not even know existed in Edmonton, in downtown, but I get this photo here, and I like how it turned out. I like the blurry background behind it and how sharp that sign turned out. And as I'm crossing the street, I turn my head and I see this baby blue G-Wagon going through the intersection. I get this photo, and I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially in a photo set with the last one of that taxi sign. And at this point, I was so happy with that photo. If the rest of the night I just got garbage photos, I would still be pretty happy, because that photo was so nice. I get this shot of this red neon open sign, and I really like the kind of night feeling of that photo. Just kind of getting a shot of this Mercedes badge to kind of go with that other one in a photo set to kind of go together and complement each other. Across the street, I actually end up seeing this patio that has these Chinese lanterns, or these paper lanterns. I get this shot. It's pretty nice. I kind of like how it looks, especially at nighttime, all of those different colors. And I end up seeing this liquor store sign in this window. It's kind of nice with the pink and white and that skull, but it's maybe not super interesting. Same with this shot, it's not all that interesting or unique. I probably won't do much with those photos, but they're kind of cool, I guess. And right here is actually the first time in the night where I kind of wish I had a wider lens, because I wanted to really capture this entire garage, kind of capture this entire scene, but I couldn't because I had this 85mm on and I could only really get this photo. It does look kind of nice, it has a nice feeling to it, but I wish I had a 28, a 35, or a 50 to really capture more of this scene. I get this one to kind of complement the first one. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer, I guess. I wish I had a wider lens, but I mean, whatever. I'll go back and try to get an image like that again. A bit further down, I get this shot of this mural with like this pig and cow standing on a beer bottle on this brick wall. Looks pretty cool. I tried to get a frame of this person in this bar or lounge. It kind of didn't really work out how I wanted it to look. I wanted to kind of get a set for the last image, but it didn't really go together. And then I end up getting this photo of this truck at this intersection, and it kind of has a nice night feel of downtown. And this is the last photo of the night, and it's kind of similar to the last one, but I like how it turned out. So now that I'm finished up showing you guys the footage, I just kind of want to talk about the overall idea of this video, and that was to kind of challenge myself by using the 85mm lens, by going out at nighttime for the first time. I really enjoy challenging myself because I feel like that is the way to kind of become a better photographer and to get better at things. When you just stick to what you're comfortable at doing, you're never going to learn new skills, you're never going to put yourself out there and really develop as a person, and in this case as a photographer. If you continue to just do the same old thing, you're not going to develop any new skills, you're not going to get any better, you're just going to become just complacent and continue to do what you're doing, and it can definitely be a bad thing in some situations, in some scenarios. So that's why I like to kind of push the boundaries and kind of push my skill set and kind of acquire new skills and kind of develop as a photographer and also as a person by trying these new challenges and trying these new things. Because when you start to do these new things, they might be uncomfortable at first, but once you keep doing it, it becomes like second nature. You get comfortable with it. It's not weird, it's not strange anymore. You get comfortable and you get good at new things. So that was kind of the entire point of this video, challenging myself by using the 85mm lens, but also challenging myself by going out for the first time and shooting street photography during the night. So now kind of getting into my first impressions, my initial thoughts of the 85mm lens, more specifically using the 85mm lens for street photography. Like I said in the intro of this video, I typically shoot with a wider focal length, much like not as zoomed in as 85mm, much wider than that, in between 28 to 50. So shooting at 85 was definitely kind of a big change up, especially an 85mm prime lens. I don't have that choice of switching to a wider focal length. I'm kind of just stuck here, and that's also another thing about prime lenses. They definitely challenge you and make you a better photographer, in my opinion. So yeah, using this 85mm for street photography for the first time was challenging but very fun. I learned a lot of new things and kind of adapted to the situation. A lot of the time in my video you could see that I actually end up changing my aspect ratio, I guess you could say, to portrait, so it's vertical, just to kind of get more height, because there's so much more compression with the 85mm and it's not as wide. I had to kind of adapt by switching it to portrait to get the verticality of those buildings in downtown, because that is such an atmosphere thing about street photography is those big skyscrapers, and with a lot of compression you can't really capture that. So by doing that with my camera, I felt like I was able to kind of circumvent that, find a loophole around it, so I can kind of still capture that feel and that atmosphere to those street images. So overall, I really did enjoy shooting with the 85mm lens. Would it be my first choice for street photography? Definitely not. I would probably choose something like a 28 or a 50 or 35 in that range instead of an 85. But would I do this again? Would I use an 85mm again and challenge myself in this situation? Definitely. I really did enjoy doing this kind of challenge and kind of experiment, I guess, because it was so much fun. And 85mm shouldn't really be written off as just a portrait lens, just as a detail lens. It can be definitely used for other things like street photography, maybe not as well as a 50mm or 35mm, but it definitely is still capable enough to get some really good images. And that is my overall impression of using an 85mm lens for street photography. So now I kind of want to talk about my favorite photos from the day, and that is actually two photos once again. They go super nicely in a photo set together, and the first photo would have to be the picture of the taxi sign. So this is a sign that I did not know existed in Edmonton or just in general. Why does it only pertain to taxis? I don't know, but I did really like how it looked. I love the nice bright white and black writing on the sign, and then also that contrast between the bright sign and then that nice night background behind it with the nice dark night sky and those blacked out buildings. I really like how that came together. And also the compression of the 85mm lens, especially shooting wide open at f1.8, looks super nice. You get super nice background blur and bokeh that is super nice to look at. And that photo is really nice, especially at 85mm. So the second photo that goes super nicely together with that first one is the picture of the blue Mercedes going through that intersection. I was so happy to get this photo. It's one of my favorites from the day, and I was kind of just crossing the street. I turned my head, saw that car just waiting at the light, and then I got some panning shots as it went through, and I love the color of that car. Not such a big fan of the model, but I do like the color, and it's a unique looking car. Even though I don't absolutely love it, it does definitely act as an interesting subject in this scene. And especially with that nice blue Edmonton Place building in the background, goes nicely with the blue of the car, that nice light baby blue, and then the contrast with the warm light from the street lights lighting up the pavement underneath it. It's a really nice contrast because orange and blue always go nicely together. But yeah, so those are my two favorite photos from the day, and they look amazing together in a photo set. So if you guys liked any of these photos that I showed in this video, I post them on my Instagram and also on my other social media pages. Those can be found at bmintram. And I also post some of my favorite photos from this day of shooting on my website, which can be found at bmintram.myportfolio.com. And that is where I post some of my better pictures, my best work, and I also kind of talk about myself as a photographer on there. You guys can also go on there to check out all of my gear that I use for my shoots whenever I'm doing street photography or even filming my videos. I have all of my camera gear listed on there. So if you guys are ever interested in what new items I'm picking up and using, you could check out my website, and all of that information will be in there. So you could check out my Instagram and my different social media pages for my latest photos and information. You can check out my website for my different gear, my best work, and also to learn about me more as a photographer. So I'm just going to ask you guys to leave a like on this video and also subscribe to my channel, as it helps me out a lot as a creator. And I'll see you guys in the next one.